Cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Bridget, for those of you that don't know me, and today is the 28th of April, 2020. So we've got an exciting training for you tonight. I'm going to run the first half, and then Joe's going to take you guys through a blitz. So if you have got another device that you can work on at the end of the session, that would be good as well. So it just makes it a bit easier when we're doing a blitz. So I wanted to go over a little bit. I've been listening to a cool book called Atomic Habits. I don't know if anyone's listened to that. That is by a guy called James Clear. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about creating good habits and setting yourself up for success. And I guess like he talks a lot about the habits are broken into kind of 4 different sections. So say, for example, your goal is that you're going to lose weight. So maybe you're going to lose weight, you're going to have to eat better, or you're going to have to exercise every day. But to exercise every day, you're going to have to get up at a certain time. But to do that, you have to set your alarm. But the first part of the habit is actually getting out of bed when you set your alarm. So it's breaking those things down into little achievable habits that you can do. You know, once you've achieved that first part of getting out of bed, then you're going to get changed, go for a walk. Going for a walk every day is going to get you fitter and getting you towards your goal. So I think for me, I realized a couple of weeks ago that I was thinking that I was ticking off goals and ticking off habits, but I was just talking to a lot of people, but not getting to the point or actually doing the work. So I was kind of like procrastinating, going around in circles, feeling like I was doing something, but not actually doing anything. So I think if we can break our goals down, and I think my problem is I always kind of shoot for something that's really high, and then maybe in the back of my head feel like that's not achievable. So then end up not doing the work because obviously you're scared of failure, scared I don't want to get there, I'm not going to get this, I'm just not going to do it anyway. So it becomes a vicious circle, you know. So I think that if I can break my goals down, instead of saying I'm going for SSC or I'm going for Partner Plus, if I can say my goal is an action goal, which means I'm going to talk to 3 new people every day, I'm going to make a post every day, I'm going to send out couple of links every day, then those goals are more achievable and they will get me along to where I want to be in the future, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I guess when we're talking about that, it's just making sure setting achievable goals, making sure you're actually doing the work and not just like me pretending that you're not doing it and just talking to a lot of people about maybe what they've had for lunch today. And and another good way to do it, I think, is to get an accountability buddy. So maybe if you can set yourself up with somebody, a sideline, upline, someone that can say, right, this is what I want to do every day. Can you send me a message at the end of the day and made sure I've done it? You know, a really good way to work for. And another thing that he talks about also is like, I don't know if you're like me, but I love lists. I love like crossing off lists. So like if I write a list, then I get to like put a line through it. I used to like fight with my sous chef, like who would get to cross off the list when we'd done things at work, and then she'll get like a black marker and cross it off over the top. And so like if you have like a calendar that you can print out just with the dates on it, stick it on your fridge, for example, and then say your goal is to do 3 reach outs that day, and you get to put a cross in that date, you know. And so then you're seeing those crosses like right, done, and it kind of, for me anyway, being able to cross something off makes me feel like I've achieved it, and I'm a lot more likely to continue that habit if I feel like I've achieved something or I've been rewarded for something, you know. What else was I going to say? Yeah, and I guess the other part of, we've talked about that before, is if some of you might have Teamsy, some of you might not. I think I definitely Teamsy, when I first got it, I probably wasn't in enough action to have it, and it probably led me into a false security of thinking that I was doing things because numbers were coming up on the Teamsy and making it look like I'd done loads of things, but when I still wasn't asking the right questions, I probably wasn't actually getting to where I needed to be anyway. So if you have questions about Teamsy, you can maybe ask your uplines and they will let you know if they think that you are in enough action to be utilizing it correctly. I don't know if anyone has any questions around that or not. I think a big thing that takes us out of action and stops us from creating habits, like I said before, is that the fear of failure, you know. And I think I read somewhere that before, the secret of success is to do what scares you. So do something that scares you every day, and then you're always going to be growing, and that is the way to always keep moving forward. So if we're scared of failing, we often take ourselves out of action. Maybe we're scared of rejection. We're not asking the right questions for people to come and look at the business because we're worried that they might say no. And really, at the end of the day, you're the only one that is in control of your future, you know, like, so you're the only one that can move yourself forward. And saying that, I have a little video to show you guys, and it's a good friend of mine set up this video. She's recorded it, and it's kind of about a little snapshot of her life, really. I've known her for a long time. She has probably been through more than many people that I know and has come out the other side kicking and screaming every time. And I just thought that this would be a really good thing to show you guys, to get you to really think about what happens if you've had some rejections, or you've felt like maybe you've had a month where things haven't gone so well, and you feel that sometimes that you're not quite sure if you can get back up to where you were before. And so I wanted to show you this to give you a little bit of encouragement, and then we'll bring Lucy on to talk to you a little bit about it afterwards. Before I share my screen with you, I just want to, because you won't be able to see this, she wrote a little caption with it when she did her video, when she released it, and I wanted to read you a little bit of it because I think it will give you a bit of a background around where the idea of this video came from, and then it will make more sense when you watch it. So she said that everyone has a story to tell, and every time I meet a strong person, I want to know, what dark did they conquer in theirs? For mountains do not rise without earthquakes. So after she's had a few significant events happen to her in the last few years, she was compelled to create this short film. She's called it While I Breathe, I Hope. So she says that the name of this actually comes from a translation, the English translation of her family's Latin motto. I'm going to attempt to pronounce this. Lucy, sorry if it's wrong. It's called Dum Spiro Spiro. I'm not sure. Okay, it means never losing hope and faith for a better future, so never losing drive to achieve your goals. So this is a motto that she uses to live her life by. Mute that person, sorry. Hang on 1 second. So it's all started in a chain of events back in around 2015. She was doing really well, and then everything went a bit wrong with the relationship she was in. She tried to end that relationship, and around the same time she received some awful news that her dad had been diagnosed with cancer, and he had 3 weeks to live. He passed away 2 weeks later, which obviously triggered some full-on questions about regret, you know, what she was going to do. She decided to quit her job, and she handed in a resignation, walked out the door, and pursued her dream as an equestrian career. 6 weeks later, she won the biggest title, but then her horse suffered a huge injury which ended its career at the same time. So she says, guess what? Rock bottom has a basement, and it's not pretty. In June last year, her oldest brother disappeared without a trace. He remains missing to this day. She said, funny enough, when you find yourself at the bottom, it makes you all of your problems, faults, and unhappiness come under the spotlight. Nothing introduces you better to yourself than adversity. But it is often here during these lows that we become aware of our greatest strengths. You learn that your current life is, to a large extent, the result of your past actions, choices, and experiences. Your future is determined by how you act in the present moment. In other words, your past does not have to define you and your future. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen with you now and play you this little video. It's about 5 minutes, I think. Oh God, I nearly ended. Let's go like that. And then we'll talk to Lucy afterwards. Go. Share. Can you guys all see that, hopefully?
Bridge, there's no audio.
Oh shit. Crap, why is that not working? Sorry. It's really important to watch the audio, listen to the audio. Okay. How do I do that? I wonder if hear the audio now. No.
I think you got to have you got headphones in?
Yeah, I just took my headphones out.
Yeah, it doesn't work with headphones in on Zoom.
Okay, can we start again? Sorry. Tell me if it works now. Can you hear that?
No.
Alex?
No, I can't hear any sound at my end.
Oh, what am I doing wrong?
Can you hear the sound at your end, Bridget?
Yeah. I should just be able to share screen, no?
Is your volume up on that actual clip there?
Let me just turn it right up on my computer. Up on the clip.
Okay.
Now.
Destiny, life.
Yeah.
That was better.
Yeah, everyone else just needs to mute though. Like I think that there could be muffling in the background if everyone else, just make sure everyone else mutes. I think that that was working, Bridge.
Okay, cool.
So you have to trust that the gods will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the gods will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path.
It's very difficult to hear. Is everyone else feeling the same? I can't really hear it.
Do you know what you could do? Are you able to share? Is there like a link to that you could just pop in the chat? I mean, unless we all just watch on our own computer, I think sometimes the audio, depending on the internet connection, can be really bad through Zoom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man. Okay. Yep.
Or do you have that file on your computer?
Yeah, I can share it. I can share. Yeah, you can click it on your page.
No, you don't have the actual video file on your computer?
No. Lucy, do you have it on yours?
I'm working off of it.
Sorry. A couple of people have said that audio share from your computer.
Audio share from the computer.
Yeah. Go to screen share, then go to advanced and click audio share from your computer. So.
Oh, share content.
Oh, okay. Right. Oh man. Okay, I can share I can share the link to her page where you can see it, no? That's just kind of sucks. See, I'm not very
The girls are saying it's in the Zoom settings at the bottom.
Yeah, so if I go into the bottom and you go screen share, it doesn't give me share computer sound. Okay. Right.
I love how we're all tech savvy on an online business.
I'm so I'm savage.
To trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future.
Yeah.
You have to trust in something.
Way better,
God,
but make it full
destiny,
screen,
life,
maybe?
karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become.
But you're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs. Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful. There's nothing as powerful. It's hard to kill the human spirit. Anybody can feel good when they have their health, their bills are paid, they have happy relationships. Anybody can be positive then. Anybody can have a larger vision then. Anybody can have faith under those kinds of circumstances. Challenge of growth, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, comes when you get knocked down. It takes courage to act. Part of being hungry when you've been defeated, it takes courage to start over again. Fear kills dreams. Fear kills hope. Fear put people in the hospital. Fear can age you, can hold you back from doing something that you know within yourself that you're capable of doing, but it will paralyze you.
At the end of your feelings is nothing. But at the end of every principle is a promise. Behind your little feelings, it might not be absolutely nothing at the end of your little feelings. But behind every principle is a promise. And some of you in your life, the reason why you're not at your goal right now, because you just all about your feelings. You all on your feelings. You don't feel like waking up. So who does? Every day you say no to your dreams, you might be pushing your dreams back a whole 6 months, a whole year. That one single day, that one day you didn't get up could have pushed your stuff back I don't know how long. Don't allow your emotions to control you. We are emotional, but you want to begin to discipline your emotion. If you don't discipline and contain your emotions, they will use you. You want it, and you're going to go all out to have it. It's not going to be easy. When you want to change, it's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out. I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm coming back. And I'll be stronger and better because of it. You have got to make a declaration that this is what you stand for. You're standing up for your dreams. You're standing up for peace of mind. You're standing up for health. Take full responsibility for your life. Accept where you are
and the responsibility that you're going to take yourself where you want to go. You can decide that I'm going to live each day as if it were my last. Live your life with passion, with some drive. Decide that you're going to push yourself. The last chapter to your life has not been written yet, and it doesn't matter about what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter about what happens to you. What matters is, what are you going to do about it?
This year, I will make this goal become a reality. I won't talk about it anymore. I can. I can. I can.
Persevere, I think it's important for everybody. Don't give up, don't give in. There's always an answer to everything.
Oh, so oh, now what's going on? Hang on. There we go. Right. Okay, so it's a pretty powerful video, eh? I think that you can take it however you want, you know, into whatever part of your life that you want. But I think it's a really good lesson to learn that, you know, you are in charge of your life and you're in charge of where you want to take it. So I'd love to just ask Lucy a few questions, and if anyone has any questions for her, then, you know, feel free to put them in the chat also. But I think the first one I'd like to ask you, Lucy, is that if you have any advice, because I know that definitely in this business, people go through some massive highs and massive lows, and just what is your advice to picking yourself up after you've had like a big setback, you know?
Yeah, I think like as I said in my post, you know, like a really good friend explained it to me once, and she said, you know, giving up on your goals, it's like slashing all your tires because you got one flat. And I guess that's something that's kind of stuck with me ever since, and it sort of made me realize at some point that, you know, actually the only person that is responsible for yourself is you. And I know that's, you know, sounds cliche, or we hear that all the time, but the reality is, you know, like it's the drive has got to come from you. Like, yes, you are going to get setbacks, you are going to get knocked, but it's choosing that sink or swim scenario and going, you know, which one am I going to choose? Like for me, sinking, I don't know what does that achieve? It doesn't bring me any closer to my goals. It doesn't fulfill me in any way. So, you know, like every time that I've been put in a challenge, looking for the opportunity out of it is probably the thing that has helped me the most. It's just, I guess it's that growth mindset over the fixed mindset, and going, okay, like this has happened and it's okay that I feel the way that I'm feeling right now. It's okay that I have these emotions. I'm frustrated, I'm upset, but what can I learn from this opportunity right here, right now? What can I take away from it? Because if you look hard enough, there is always something that you can take away from it, something that you can learn, and whether that's about an external situation or if it's with yourself. So I guess in a long-winded answer.
Yeah, no, I completely, and that's true. Like I think that everything, and I think often at the time we don't realize that if we look back in our life, we can see, oh, well, that happened and that's great because I learned that and it led me there. But being able to do that faster, I guess, can get you on the right track again, you know, quicker, which is, I think that's the way. Like if you can have that mindset that everything is there to teach you something, what can I learn from this and where can I direct myself now, then that would really help you get to your goals faster. And so I guess another question that I had for you is what's probably how like every successful person always has a routine, no? Do you have any like little habits or tricks or something that you always do every day? Or
Yeah. The first thing I do every day is actually make my bed, and that's that's something that I guess my dad was quite old school, and it's something that he instilled in me from a very young age. And I guess that goes back to creating those habits of excellence. And David Goggins, I don't know if you guys have heard of David Goggins, but he has a great book, and it's called I think it's Can't Hurt Me. And he actually talks in that book a little bit the same thing. And it's the reason behind it is, you know, by doing that and achieving that, like even if you achieve nothing else in your day, and I hope that you do achieve more in your day than just making your bed, but it's one thing that you tick off, and it just kind of starts the day with those good habits and the habits that you intend to kind of keep going with. But another thing for me that's always been massive in my life is taking care of myself, like in terms of physical exercise. As Bridget mentioned, and as you would have seen in the video, I am a horse rider, and for people that aren't familiar with the sport, sometimes from the outside it can look like the horse does all the work. I can assure you that is not the case. And we do, as a rider, you know, there's a lot of physicality to it, and in a way it's very much a team sport. Even though it's an individual event, it's a team sport, and your teammate is your horse. And so, you know, for me, I feel like I have a responsibility to my teammate to bring the best that I can to my performance. And so if I'm not looking after my health, my physical health, my mental health, then I'm not going to bring the best that I can to competition, to, you know, their performance. And I think the same goes in whatever you do, whether it's, you know, in your job, in your relationships. If you don't have your physical health and your mental health, it's really, really hard to feel good about what you're doing. So creating those daily habits, for me, exercise is as much of a habit for me in my day as brushing my teeth. And that's the way that I look at it. It's not an option of, do I have time to do it today? Do I want to do it today? Because that's probably not how you would think about brushing your teeth. It's just something that you do religiously, morning and night, maybe more, I don't know. And so, yeah, so those are a few things that are absolutely a part of my day. And that doesn't change regardless of the weather, the environment, the time of the year, anything. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's very important. Like, I know that definitely if I get up and exercise, I feel better for the rest of the day, and then my head's clearer and I tend to work better too. So I think if maybe it's meditation, or maybe it's yoga, or maybe it's a walk, but if that helps set you up for the day, then yeah, it's definitely a good habit to get into. I don't know if does anyone want to pop any questions in the chat that they had, or quickly before Lucy has to run off.
I think if people are writing any questions, but you know, one thing I was just going to say is every day you wake up, you have two options, and the first option is that you carry on being exactly the same person that you've always been, doing the same things that you've always done, knowing that you're going to stay that same person. Or, you know, the second option is that you get up and you try and become a better version, like, you know, striving for more, striving for excellence, striving not to your quota but to your potential. And there is a difference between the two of those, because a quota is a number that someone else puts on you, or a company puts on you and says, you know, this is what you're going to earn, or this is what you're going to achieve. And, you know, they're basing those numbers off their own little things, but that doesn't mean that you have to, you know, stick with those. Like, your potential is up there, and it really comes down to the mindset that you get up with in the morning and that you choose to have and adopt in every situation. So I'm you know, not someone who's sort of like airy-fairy. I do consider myself quite black and white, but I guess the biggest thing that I've learned through all the setbacks is the mindset, and it's the mindset of choosing, do I accept the situation and dwell on it, or do I accept the situation and learn from it? So that's my advice.
Yeah, completely. Awesome advice. Thank you so much. I don't know, Alex, did you have anything to add there?
I'm just loving it. It's been awesome. So yeah, so inspiring, and just really, I guess at the end of the day, mindset is huge. If you feel down and out and have a little pity party and stay there, you're really not going to get closer to where you want to go. So I loved everything both of you shared tonight. It was awesome. Absolutely. Amazing. Great job.
I've got a question, Lucy.
Sure.
When did you decide to go all in?
With my business or
with show jumping?
So I was introduced to riding when I was 3, and then I sort of did the typical kid thing as, you know, as a hobby, and then sort of became quite serious in my teen years. I then, when I turned 18, I got a job at Lone Star over summer, saved up, bought a ticket to Europe, and only told my parents the night before because my ride to the airport had failed. And they weren't very happy about it because they wanted me to go to university, even though they'd pushed me to pursue my love for riding so much as a kid. It was a little bit ironic that when it kind of came to that real make or break point of like, you know, am I going to take this professionally, or am I going to go and have a proper job, as my dad might have thought. You know, I've always been a little bit stubborn in some ways, and so I carried on with what I wanted to do, and that was to go to Europe and go professional. And I did that for a couple of years, and then came back and actually ended up going to university, which made them very happy. But it was, the importance of that was that I came to that realization myself, and I went there because I wanted to go there. I went full time with my business here in New Zealand 3 years ago, and that was like Bridge said at the start with the video, just before my horse suffered the career ending injury. It was 6 weeks before that I decided to go pro, and the reason for that was that I guess I was put in this position where, again, it was make or break, this time not for me but for my horses, because my horses had come to an age where they were at the peak of their career, and it was up to me to help them achieve that, or basically everything that my parents and I had strived towards with these horses would have just gone to waste. And so I guess, you know, like in the video with the idea of regret, it was one of those things where I was like, you know, in 10 years time, if I look back at this moment and I know that, you know, I didn't give my horses 100% and my dreams 100% to do this, I'm going to have some serious regret issues. I don't know if I could live with myself if I didn't, you know, see this through. And I knew that it was a gamble, but I guess I knew that I had the safety net of going back to the corporate world if I needed it. But, you know, and that was in some ways thanks to my parents pushing me to kind of have something other than riding, and I am really glad that they did. It is a very high risk sport. There are a lot of ups and downs with it, and I feel that it's added a lot of value. My time at university has added a lot of value to what I do now, because it's taught me so many skills and just given me a lot more to my life and who I am than probably I would have been if sport was the only thing that I did. So yeah, another long-winded answer, I'm sorry. Carried away.
That's all good. Thanks so much, man. And yeah, you've added so much value tonight, and we can all use it where we want to in our lives. So everyone just needs to have that encouragement and know that you just need to push on through, and when the shit hits the fan, just gotta keep going.
Yeah, definitely. And probably like just the last, I'm gonna promise just one more thing. my parents were quite old school, and they were very much in that mindset of you don't have to enjoy what you do, you just have to do something. And the stubborn side of me, you know, pushed back from that. And I guess where my mum and I are quite different is, you know, if I'm having a bad start to my day, or if I'm having, you know, just a rough part of my day, I will auto check myself and go, what do I need right now to pick myself up? And whether that's to go down to my favorite cafe and get that coffee, or go for a walk, whatever it is, like, I think that's really important to just have that auto check and just go, what is it? Because, you know, my mum would say, you shouldn't be spending that $5, like you know, you need to be saving. And I'd go, yeah, but that $5 was the most productive moment of that day, because it turned my whole day around. It made my mindset incredible, and I went on to achieve tenfold because of it. So I think just, you know, have those little auto check moments where, you know, and be kind to yourself, listen to yourself and what you want and need, because I think that's really important. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucy. Some gold
No worries.
there.
I'm going to love and leave you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Good luck, everyone.
I hope
Bye.
Bye. I hope that's all put you in an awesome mindset to do a little bit of work for the end of training, because now Jo is going to take over and get us all in action.
After rush, are we okay if we go over time? Is that all right? Because we started a bit late.
Yeah.
Hey, Bridge, I think they use the Zoom in 5 minutes, unless something's changed. I'm pretty sure Adam, like someone
got an
will,
event.
they'll jump on like in the next few minutes for that event.
Okay.
Well, maybe we should save it for next. I'll talk to Claudine. Maybe we can save it for next week, because I can probably add on from I was going to share my story, and it's kind of relates to what Lucy's story is as well, and then we could run a blitz. So if I talk to Claudine, we can maybe add on for next week.
Yeah, and we could probably give some people some homework to do anyway.
Yeah.
When they get up. Okay. Sorry.
That's all good. No, that was awesome tonight. I loved it. I love that video. It was really inspiring. But yeah, I was just going to do a blitz with you guys for end of month. So you're all probably going hard anyway. But it was pretty much just those follow-ups. And that's how Bridget just did, was doing having those people on your chicken list, and just like, what have you got to lose? Like, to be honest, like, just go out and be authentic and ask them, like, I know it can be scary if they say no, but that's all they're going to say. It's no, it's not that scary. So I think going out and just doing, like, we can run this next week, but I just had things down, like starting new conversations, which is at this time of what's going on in the world right now. It's so easy to start new conversations. Birthday messages is always an awesome one that I use as well, is just reaching out to people and giving them a happy birthday and just checking in with them, and doing those 2 direct reach outs. So I challenge you guys to go, when we get off tonight, is to go and do 2 direct reach outs for people that have been sitting on that chicken list maybe for years. I know for me it's nearly 4 years, and there's still probably a couple of people that I haven't asked. And doing some follow-ups, and also the engagement. So everyone has their own DMO. I have 4 kids, and I put out to you, Alex, I'm homeschooling them at the moment, and it's hard to fit it all in. So this is just like 5 minutes. Even if you do 5 minutes of everything, you can get it done in like 20-minute slots throughout the day. So go away, and I want to see if everyone wants to post in the chat when they've done their direct reach chats, and see how everyone went. And hopefully I can share next week and a little bit more around that for you guys.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea, actually. Why don't we make ourselves accountable, since we didn't get to do it on here? So if everyone can do their chicken list and their reach outs, and then comment done in our group chat, that'd be amazing.
Thanks, everybody.
Sorry guys, that was a bit long-winded, and I'm not tech savvy, and next time I'll make it better.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. That was awesome.
Thanks, guys. Have a amazing evening, and